Today, I am beyond excited because I am talking to one of my friends that I've had in the industry for over 20 years. And the two of us have talked about that intricacy of finding that email list or postal list that can help you reach your exact target audience. Today, she's going to shed light on how industry-specific magazines can help your sales team save, I would say, at least 5 steps because you're getting that targeted group. We'll be talking with Amy Miller, and she is the Director of Data Marketing Services for Informa. Now, Informa is an organization that is worldwide, covering publications and conferences and events. There's a plethora of stuff that they cover, and Amy handles all their data. But before we get started, my name is Donna Peterson, and you are listening to the B2B Marketing Excellence Podcast. I go and talk with marketing executives and business owners all over the world to see what is working, what is not, and what tactics you can utilize to help you grow your business. So let's jump in. Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm good, Donna. How are you?
Good. Like I said, I am so excited to be talking to you because you and I, over the years, have been able to hash things out, to navigate through the sea of garbage data that's out there and figure out ways to pinpoint my clients' specific target audiences. Now, one of the files you handle is BioProcess International. Can you tell us a little bit about that magazine, the type of selects you have available, and how companies can utilize your list to reach their exact audience?
Sure, absolutely. So BioProcess International has been around not quite the 20 years that you and I have known each other, but close, right? And it actually came out of the conference team who had seen a surge in the need for information on bioprocessing, right? So bioprocessing is exactly as it sounds. It's in the pharmaceutical and bio industry and processing, right? Really nitty gritty scientist lab, upstream, downstream, and the processing that happens behind the scenes, to get those drugs or medical devices or processes to market, right? So, so when you put a publication like that out to market, it's really important that you have the right people reading the publication, right? Because, not what you and I are doing, but they're selling advertisements, right?
Yes.
So similar types of things to what our clients or people that we're working with are doing, but you're not going to sell a full page ad in a magazine to a company if you're not hitting the right people. They're not going to read it, right?
It wouldn't exist.
Exactly.
The magazine wouldn't have existed for 20 years if BioProcess International wasn't doing their due diligence and hitting the right people interested in their content.
Exactly. So what they did way back when was they also made that conscious decision, which most publishers do at some point. Are we going to be controlled circ or are we going to be a subscription-based publication? BioProcess or BPI is controlled circ, right? So they make, I'm not in the actual magazine, but 80-90% of their revenue from advertisements, right? So not from subscriptions.
So when you're saying controlled circ, just because I know there's people listening to my podcast today, because a lot of people don't even understand that industry-specific magazines have advertising opportunities for them. Can you just explain, what do you mean by controlled circ?
Absolutely. So when you put together a publication, right? When you decide you're going to start a magazine, you have 2 ways to make money, right? There's subscription-based publications. So you have to pay to subscribe, which is what most of us do on the consumer level, right?
Right.
I love people, right? It's my one downfall. I like to sit
your
with
guilty pleasure.
It is my guilty pleasure. And I read People magazine, right? And there are ads, but I also have to pay, whatever it is, $50, $100 a year to get People magazine, right? So that's subscription based. Controlled circ on the other side is saying that they're going to really highly what they call qualify people who are reading it and confirm that that scientist within the upstream bioprocessing industry is exactly who she says she is.
Right.
She's Donna Peterson, upstream lab director at Merck,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And by doing that, they've qualified Donna and made sure that she is who she says she is. And when she is, she gets the magazine for free.
Yeah.
And she gets the magazine for free because the publishers of that magazine have decided that they're going to get their revenue from advertisements and not from Donna as a subscriber to that publication.
Right. And
But
obviously they're doing it right because the advertisers keep coming back.
they
And
totally.
Yeah. And the advertisers wouldn't come back if their ads weren't being seen by the right audience.
Exactly. So what they do, and honestly, I haven't, I used to be on a couple controlled circ publications in the marketing world, right?
Yeah.
You know, remember the DM News and
Yeah, oh gosh, that was
the day, right? And what they actually would do is, you know, kind of like today, you know how now you go to buy tickets online and you get to that CAPTCHA and it says, oh, how many
cars are there?
lights do you see? And the pictures, and you have to tick them off. Well, what they used to do, they probably do that now for controlled circ. What they used to do is come up with those funny questions, right? Like when's your birthday? What color are your eyes?
Yeah.
But, you know, it really is serious, right? It really is those advertisers who are going to pay $1,000, $2,000, $20,000, $50,000 for a double page spread in a publication.
Yeah.
They want to know that they're reaching who they say they're reaching, right?
Yes.
So there's also a governing body out there called the BPA, which audits those publications, you know, that are controlled circ. So the whole point of my whole story, which is not really having to do with what we're talking about, but is the fact that these people are who they say they are, right?
And that is having to deal with our whole story.
Correct.
Because you know me, I come to you a lot. I have a lot of industrial auction companies or executive education who their offers are very expensive. And we have to make sure we're reaching top decision makers. Because I know that the lists that I get from you are that top quality person in specific areas, I want to know all this. I want to know about, is it controlled circ? Are they BPA audited? Where do these people come from? What is the source of the list?
Correct.
Because, you know, we all get those emails. We could all get that 100,000 record database, usually from India, but, you know, it can come from any country, these huge databases. But what is it?
Correct. Right. And I mean, it could be a phone book.
Yeah.
You know, like back in the day, you know, when you used to get those, you know, you'd get a paper directory and now it's online. So it's still the same, right?
I'm laughing because, oh my gosh, do I remember those days? Yes.
Right.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it self-reported means exactly what it says it means. If I am Amy Miller, the director of data solutions, then that's who I am, because I have keyed that into a subscription card, right? Online, or I've talked to a telemarketer, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I have said that that's who I am. And it's been proven that that's who I am. And that's the key, right? It's not making up a name because I'm on a website, or it's not, you know, somebody trying to grab my name from a cookie or from an IP pool.
They're not harvesting or scraping it off the internet. This is
Correct.
self-reported data, which you receive.
Yeah.
And then also, because Informa, I know some of your conferences can range thousands of dollars to attend. When someone wants to attend those conferences, there's no way they're just giving you bogus information as if it's a free 100%. Offer.
100%.
They're going to fill out what their titles are, what their job function is, what equipment they need, everything like that.
Correct. And the thing is, that's the cool thing about a controlled circ subscription, is you can ask questions beyond what's your name, rank, and serial number, right? So it's not just Amy Miller, my title, and my company name. They then take that opportunity because they want to sell ads to that person, right? So they take that opportunity to say, are you in upstream or downstream, right? Are you, you know, the business industry type is not just, are you in the biopharm industry? Well, of course they are. They're reading BioProcess International,
Yes.
right? But there's
But
20
obviously
categories.
your
Correct.
content is good enough and of value to them that is attracting these subscribers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And advertisers. And
Yes.
really, if it's attracting advertisers, meaning if the publication still exists and there's ads in it, whether it's an online ad, whether it's a paper, a paper ad, right? If
Yeah.
somebody still is buying that, it's working for them, right?
Right.
The Thermo Fishers of the world, or Merck, or the person who's selling the test tube to the company making the COVID vaccine, or to the company making your flu shot, or to the company making that new diabetes or rheumatoid arthritis drug, right?
Yes.
They need products. There's an ad for that product, right? It has to be specific, or they're not going to sell it, right? They're just not, they're not going to sell anything if the information isn't accurate.
Well,
So,
and that's why emails that I've done with you, and I've done postal also, have always responded well, because you're actually reaching the people I need.
correct.
And I also know you, because of the way you are, you do such a thorough job that if I asked you for chief scientists who need HPLC machines in Germany, you're going to dig deep to find me that exact audience. You're not going to just say, oh, well, Donna, these are manufacturers of pharmaceuticals, or these are, biotechnology. You're going to go really fine to get me those people. And that's what makes the lists work.
Right, exactly. Because anybody, anybody can have a list, right?
Yeah.
Anybody, it's funny because in the conference industry, what happens is I actually get, on a somewhat regular basis, I get emails from people trying to sell me a list, right?
Yes.
Because I work at Informa, so they automatically think I, whatever. And they will even use my own show as the teaser, right?
Yeah.
So I'll get an email that says, oh, do you want the attendees to BioProcess? Because we also have a BioProcess show.
Yeah. Yeah.
To a BioProcess show. And I'm thinking, you know what? You don't have, and it honestly, people in market, like our producers, our marketers, our products people, in panic, send me an email. Amy, they've got our list.
Yeah.
They've got our list. And they don't, right?
They don't.
They've harvested it.
Yeah. They look at the show. Yeah, they look at the show, they look at who should attend, and then they go out and they do research on it. And I know there has been some legal cases where organizations have gone after them because that is unethical what they are doing. Because I have clients, the same thing. Clients coming into me saying, Donna, look, we can get this conference. I'm like, no, you can't. I said, first of all, the conference hasn't even taken place. It's like taking place next month. And they're telling me that this conference company is releasing.
Right.
No, guys, think about how valuable of an asset that list is for their own internal conference. They're not going to release it for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to rent. But people don't know. And this is where I'm hoping through this podcast will educate people on, you've got to do your due diligence. You've got to know, what is the source of the list? How did the people get on the list? Was it scraped, harvested? Was it self-reported?
Correct.
And then is the list owner, like Informa, doing the due diligence of making sure it's opted in and compliant and GDPR compliant?
Correct. It's like in the industry, and I'm sure you've heard it, they call it, do you want to target or do you want to spray and pray?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. And you, honestly, Donna, you and I can sit here until we're blue in the face and talk about targeting. There will be companies, there will be marketers, there will be people who will spray and pray.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny because it always makes me think of, my husband has a saying that he always says, and I think I've told it to you before because it just cracks me up. And it's, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn every now and again. Right. And it's true, right?
Yeah.
I am not saying, you and I could say till we're blue in the face, oh, if you spray and pray, you're never going to get a lead. You might, And you
Yes.
probably will, because if
Yes.
you pay to email 200,000 records,
Right.
odds are you're going to hit somebody. Odds
Yeah.
are one of those blind squirrels is going to find an acorn, right?
Right.
It's going to happen.
Right.
But what did you have to do to get there? And
Right.
like you said at the beginning of the call, how many calls does your sales rep have to go through before they get to that acorn? How many, and would you rather spend X amount of time? Because we all know nowadays, even more than before, time is money, right?
Yes. Yes.
You'd rather spend your actual money and spend all your time with 200,000 to get to one lead, or with 3,000 names to get to 10 leads.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's really what it's what it boils down to. And it's finding, you and I have always said, which here we are 20 years later, you're looking for partners in the industry, right?
Yes.
You're not looking for, I'm not looking for the fly by night
The
Facebook
quick
ad where I
sale.
can
Yeah.
get the new makeup
Yeah.
and then I'm going to hate it. And it doesn't perform like it says like Facebook says it's going to.
Yeah.
And, I'm done.
Right.
You want to find someone you can partner with. You want to
Right.
find someone with
And
lists that fit your criteria, targeted selects that help your salespeople do what they're supposed to do.
yeah. And when you go into, because I was thinking about the, like you said, the spray and pray. And
Yeah.
I've heard from other companies saying, you know what, marketing doesn't work. And that's when they're like, we're not going to do any lists. We're not going to do any emails. We're just going to get leads. And I hate to tell people, even if you're buying leads, like, what are you buying? But when you go into reputable brands like yourself, you send an email. Yes, you're getting a good response rate. But if that email is being sent to your target audience, think of the branding you
Absolutely.
are doing in your circle.
Absolutely.
That is going to help and just reinforce your brand to get out there more and more. And this is the place where people need to go to, get their lists.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really is, it is that whole quality, quantity, type of argument. And you're right. Like you said, if you get a lead, right?
Right.
Yes. If that salesperson calls on that lead you've bought, right, from wherever,
Right.
because, Informa does lead gen,
Yeah.
other companies do lead gen. It is hot right now.
Yeah.
But you could get that singular sale.
Yes.
Right. But if you market and do branding, you could get that singular sale, and you've reinforced to that person that then when they want the next thing,
Yes.
they know who to talk to.
Because you're
They know where
being
to go.
seen as a thought leader in the space. You're
Correct.
not just doing a sales call to the one person. You're out there saying, hey, BioProcess International, this is a magazine. This is what we cover. This is the value we offer to you.
Correct.
And it reinforces your brand.
Correct.
So now this brings me to my next question then for you. Is there a certain marketing strategy or package you have seen work best over the last couple of years?
I mean, you and I have talked about nurture, right? Like,
yes.
I'm not a one and done.
Oh,
I don't think it works. I just don't.
Those days are over.
Yeah.
One and done is over. I don't care if you have the exact list. Because of what you just said, everyone is so short on time.
Yep.
Even if you send the email directly to the person who wants it, they may not be able to answer it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or it gets deleted before it even, I'll be honest, I'm one of those people who, oh, I don't have time for that. Click, 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 or
Isn't that every morning?
Every morning, right? But that's why you do that. You hit them multiple times, you nurture them. And then, as I've learned from you as well, you add that social element.
Yeah.
You add that online, that what we do for programmatic targeting is not a retargeting activity. It's not I went to Amazon, I looked at a pair of shoes, and God help me, those shoes are with me for the next 3 months, whether I liked them, hated them, that's retargeting. And you know what? It can be effective, right?
I'm so past those shoes.
Correct, right? But it can, it can.
Yeah.
I like the shoes. But what we do instead is we do find that Donna Peterson, and I can't remember exactly what I had you as your upstream lab director, right, at Merck.
Yeah.
You've got that email, but then we find you online. We've
Right.
targeted you online as well. We're not targeting random people randomly where they go, right? We are still hyper targeting Donna
Right.
with that same messaging, so between social and programmatic and emails. And then, you and I have always liked maybe a couple emails to the whole list.
Yes.
But
Yes.
after that, focus on your opens, focus on your clicks,
Yes.
get rid of the people who 2 or 3 emails later didn't open it, because they're not going to, right?
Right.
But
Well,
then
because
tailor that message.
right. And a lot of my clients, well, both, my big wheelhouses of industrial auction and executive education program, it's all about registrations.
Yep.
We need to get registrants so that they convert to buyers. And that isn't done with just a social post.
No.
Some of the executive education program are thousands of dollars, 10,000, 20,000. So a social post on Facebook is not going to get that top executive to register.
No.
Just like reaching out to them on LinkedIn. And I've tested this out even for myself, like offering a free Q&A, offering a live training where all I was giving was value. I wasn't going to sell them on anything. It was just value, but they don't have time for that. And so they don't sign up. And so you can't really do lead gen efforts through LinkedIn like some people are saying.
No. And you know what? It's an inundation thing, right?
Yeah.
It's, the anything that you possibly could have thought of that came out of COVID that was positive, right?
Yeah.
Would be the reemergence or the continued emergence of digital, right?
Yeah,
But you can also say that's the downfall, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
The first couple months of COVID, Informa was running webinars because we couldn't go face to face,
Right.
selling webinars to clients, helping them put their webinars together. And they were getting, normally you get X amount of people sign up and then 30 attend, right? And instead, X amount signed up and 98
yeah, the numbers were huge at the beginning. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately that set the expectation. And now companies, clients, marketers think, oh, well, if I don't get 98%, that list isn't good. I'm doing something wrong. And so I think there is also that, that influx of digital everywhere. And it's the world we live in. It's not going away.
No.
But like you said, then it's a reminder. It's, I'm not going to sign up on Facebook, but I need to see it on Facebook so that it reminds me. I see it on LinkedIn. I see it. And that whole nurture, but tying it back to an e-blast, to an email, gives them so much more information, right? Than a little tiny blurb.
Yeah, it gives them more information. I also think it gives it more validity.
Agreed.
And we've talked about that, whether it's an email or a postal piece. The company, no, I shouldn't say this because if people are using junk lists, you can send out an email for pennies. Correct. But if you're using a good response file and then you're following up with a mail campaign, that company is serious in what they're doing. Right. It has validity that that company is there at that address. You see what address it is, because sometimes with the social media we have going on, where are they? Where are these people? How long have they been around? Right. A company could open up tomorrow and we'll see an email from them tomorrow. Right. And
it's like you and I just said at the beginning with those companies that try to sell you the delegate list, and it's not the real delegate list. We did also years ago, now we just ignore them, but years ago we did try to prosecute 2, right?
Okay.
That were 2 of our key conferences and had people really upset. And so we really did try to prosecute. Well, similar to the full-blown scams that you get on email, right?
Yeah.
You can't, right?
The IP address, they switched right away. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
You can't. And what does that tell you, right?
Yeah.
What does that tell you that's how vested they are in their industry, is that the minute anything goes wrong or they've made a couple sales, they switch. The beginning of the call, you and I said, I've been doing this for 20 years, right? Like if I gave you a crap list, I'm still here, right? Like,
Well, and I will say, we've only had what, maybe 2 glitches
Yeah.
over the years that we've known each other, but Informa made good and the
Yeah.
client ended up being happy and continued to use the thing. Every once in a while, we're all human,
Correct.
and I think I've made errors too on my side, and we just have to own it.
Absolutely.
But when you mentioned earlier, when you can start to make partnerships with good quality organizations and good people like yourself,
Yep.
we're all willing to help each other to be the best we can to get the best results. And so it doesn't matter sometimes, I know you helped me even with an Asian sale. I think it was after hours. So I think it was close to 6 o'clock at night. And I had to get it out so it would hit the morning Asian market. And you stayed online with me so we could test creatives, pull a file, and get a blast out. And I think it was by 9 o'clock our time at night. You don't get that if you're just a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, order taker.
Right. Right. And then it won't work anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is all about creating partnerships so that we can all win. Because you know what? I'd love to retire tomorrow. And I got to tell you, I didn't check my, Mega Millions ticket from last night. And if I did, all right. But
we may not be talking right now.
Right. But barring that,
yeah.
you have to find companies that think like you think.
Yes.
Right. And offer a product that truly does help you and isn't just a product that's out there to get as many bucks as they can get.
Yes.
For no other reason, right? Really for no other reason.
Yeah.
And unfortunately there's a lot, and there's a lot like that because that's the world. I don't want to look negative. That's the world we live in. But what I mean by that is I don't think these companies think they're providing a poor service. Right. And I don't mean the harvest, the email, the that's not what I mean, the bad guys, but like I don't want to name any because I certainly don't want to get your podcast in trouble, but a compiled list has its purpose, right? There are purposes for that.
There's very good compilers out there.
Yes.
But like you said, you better make sure you have that good, deep relationship with someone to know who they are. Like, for instance, I do a lot of work with One Stop Data, who's out of the UK. I have known her for over 20 years again. And every record's called and verified. So it's like you said, you build these strong relationships and global alliances with companies that you then can just rest assured that you're getting good quality information.
I think the other thing to look for, for your listeners to think about is what else do they do with the data, right? And I think that's what makes Informa not different, because there's a lot of us like this out there, but our core products use data, right? That's how our conferences are marketed with emails, our publications like BioProcess International.
And you use your own data.
That's what I mean. 100%, right?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
What do they say? What's that saying? You eat your own soup, or you
right. Right.
Yeah.
But absolutely. Right. It's 100%. So because it's funny, you and I at the beginning, before we started recording, and we were chatting about since the last time we talked, and how are we and all that, and I had shared with you then that I started this because I was marketing conferences for Informa, and I was getting a little bored, right? And I was like, what else can I do? And I was thinking about being a conference marketer 20 years ago. And what would I do, right? I would rent a list, right? So if I had a conference on whatever it is, right? BioProcess,
right?
I would go out in the industry, try to find a list that fit, rent that list so that I could send them my brochure for whatever conference and try to get delegates.
Right.
So I thought, we have the same product that I'm renting.
Yeah.
Why would I not allow other clients the opportunity to utilize, and it's a quid pro quo, right? Like, it really is, it really boils down to that, I think.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Amy, I don't want to hold you much longer. And I really thank you. And I think our big takeaway right here from our conversation today is what you said. Everyone should go out, build those valuable connections, and just nurture them through the years. So like you and I, over 20 years, but we understand how we work. We understand where information is coming from, where the data is collected. And that, I think, would be my big takeaway for anyone who's listening is know where you're getting the data, build a relationship with the people who are giving you the data so you understand the ins and outs of it. But I thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure.
All right. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the B2B Marketing Excellence Podcast. Please hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss our next episode. And in the meantime, if you'd like to talk to me, please feel free to send me an email to dpeterson@worldinnovators.com. Till next time, have a great day.